Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Gilliam, and I am the manager of the Pitt United Way campaign. Just want to welcome you and thank you for being with us today as we kick off our Women's Leadership Council part of our campaign. We have some guests with us from United Way. We have Lynn Popash as well as Leanne Munger, and our chair this year is Dean Jackie Dunbar Jacobs. So we're so excited to have all three of our panelists with us today, and you'll hear more from them shortly. I do want to remind you to use the chat just to talk to one another. There is the Q&A feature on there that you can ask questions, and we have some moderators who will help answer some of those questions for you today. We want to make this interactive and fun, so please engage in the chat and the Q&A feature. I do just want to let you know that our Pitt Women's Leadership Council is the third largest in our region. So congratulations to all of you who are members and to our potential new members this year. And I do want to give an update on our campaign. Our overall Pitt campaign, our goal was to raise $750,000. And as of a few minutes ago, we're at close to 20%, which is about $142,500. So congratulations again. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Lynn, and she's just going to give a brief hello.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. I am Lynn Popash, Director of the Women's Leadership Council of the United Way, and we are delighted to welcome all of you today, whether you're currently a member or you're considering being a part of our dynamic group of women leaders in the community. I'm so glad you're with us today, and you're going to hear a lot of really incredible work that's being done by the United Way, particularly during this unprecedented time in our history with not just a health crisis, but really an economic crisis. The WLC has over 2,100 members in our region, the multi-county region, and I have to say it's truly a special group, not just in terms of those who give their dollars, but who give their time and really their energy and their passion. So I invite you, if you're a member, to renew and consider a 110% challenge this year. If you're not a member, please consider donating and becoming a part of our group and being a change maker. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague and friend, Leanne Munger, who is the Development Officer and directly manages the campaign along with Kelly and Kate and the Dean. So thank you so much. Have a great morning, and so glad you're here.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. Thanks, Lynn and Kelly, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. It's always so wonderful to be with our fabulous colleagues and partners at the University of Pittsburgh. You know, we really, at the United Way and there at the university, have such a fantastic partnership that we at the United Way value so very much. You all do so much for us in terms of the dollars, and then also volunteerism. And, you know, we always like to say at the United Way, volunteerism is the heart and soul of everything that we do. And I know that many of you probably have participated with us in that way. And as Lynn said, these truly are unprecedented times. We know that. In academia, you certainly are feeling the effects. We all are. And it's a time of, as Lynn said, not only a health crisis, but also a tremendous economic crisis for so many of our neighbors. And I can say that I just have never been more proud to be at the United Way, working alongside of both my colleagues, especially on our community impact side, our agency partners who are just working tirelessly under tremendous pressure to try to meet the needs of those in our community, and our corporate partners, such as the university, who are stepping up in unprecedented ways. We all saw the national news. Pittsburgh made the national news in a way that we never would want to be known for, with those long lines outside of the food bank stretching for miles. This is not what we want the city to be known for, but like cities all over the country, people in our region are suffering tremendously. Job loss, food insecurity, educational challenges for many families, especially those who lack resources. Those who were living on the edge before this crisis have just been plunged into a terrible, terrible predicament. But the response was swift. So in the very first days of the crisis, of the health crisis, quickly turning into a financial crisis, United Way, along with our partners, were there and responding. We didn't have to build systems because those systems were already in place. This is the work that the United Way does day in, day out, the work that we've always have done. We're just being called to so much a higher level to deliver those services and to provide relief to financially struggling families, children, seniors, people with disabilities, those who are the most vulnerable in our community. And thanks to the support of wonderful partners like you, we're able to deliver those programs and services. So we're here today really to talk about the Women's Leadership Council. So I would like to go ahead and share some information about the WLC. And I know that we have some of you joining today who are members of Women's Leadership Council. Some of you might be here to learn. Maybe you're not as familiar with the program. So I will talk a little bit about that. But for those of you who are WLC members, please feel free to put a note in the chat and speak directly to your colleagues who might be considering WLC membership. Would love to hear from you in the chat box about what you value about your participation with Women's Leadership Council. So what is the Women's Leadership Council? Well, we are a collective force, as Lynn said, of over 2,000 members just here in Southwestern PA. Those 2,000 members make us the third largest Women's Leadership Council in the country, something that we and our members especially are very, very proud of. I think it speaks to the heart and soul of Pittsburgh, to the commitment of women in leadership to support one another and those who are vulnerable in our community, and the great history of philanthropy that we know, the legacy that lives here in the region. So 2,000 members, we're an amazing force committed to change and impact in the community. How do women engage with one another and with the United Way through the Women's Leadership Council? Well, really primarily three ways. Coming together in organization-specific events like this one. I know that Kelly and Kate and Dean Dunbar-Jacob have been working really hard to provide opportunities for WLC members there on campus to be able to connect with one another. And in addition, we provide some regional Women's Leadership Council activities. I hope that some of you have been able to attend our WLC Spotlight events. These happen roughly quarterly. In the before times, we were in person, fabulous networking opportunities and chances for us to come together, women leaders across the region from all different organizations, at professional development events. Even now, during virtual times, we just recently hosted our second virtual WLC Spotlight, a great program on personal branding. I hope that some of you were able to attend, and we're planning something for after the first of the year. So stay tuned for more information about that. But we like to provide opportunities for women to connect both within your organization and with leaders across the region. Coming up soon, and I see this in the chat box, is our one of our most exciting events of the year. Oh, come on, I think it is our most exciting event of the year, and that's our WLC Kickoff, 19th annual this year. We're very disappointed that we will not be together in person. Just last year, the 850 women strong at the Wyndham Grand. Some of you might have attended. Elizabeth Smart was our keynote speaker. At this event coming up this year, October 22nd, next week, yikes, it's coming up fast. We're going to feature, for the first time to my knowledge, not a nationally recognized speaker, as we normally do, but even better, I think, a panel of regional women leaders talking about their leadership in the early times of this crisis, how they have supported their organizations, their teams, their families, their community through the crisis, and then very importantly, looking forward. Where are we going in the future? How will the region recover? And how are we all as women in leadership playing a role in that recovery? It's going to be a fantastic panel discussion. And I encourage you to register. Registration is required. So be sure and register for that event. If you've not received an invitation, I know that you can reach out to myself or Kelly. I'm scanning the chat to see, maybe Juliana could post my email address there. You can feel free to reach out to me directly for an invitation, or Kelly is always available to you. But please plan to join us October 22nd, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so I also want to touch on how you become a member of the Women's Leadership Council. That is through a leadership level gift when you pledge during the United Way campaign. As you know, our campaign on campus is in full swing. And I'll just preface by saying that if you have already made your pledge and maybe pledge below the leadership level, I'll get to those details in 1 second. But if you pledge below the leadership level, it's not too late. It's easy to go back in and revise your pledge. If you would like to add just a little bit more for inspiring you today to join us and become a part of the WLC. If you have any trouble either making a pledge or revising your pledge, Kelly and I are available all day, every day to assist you with that. So leadership level giving at the United Way is $1,000 or more annually. That can be a hurdle. It's a significant gift, one that we absolutely appreciate so very, very much. But you're not writing a check for $1,000. Remember, payroll deduction makes it so much easier to spread that gift out over the course of an entire year. And we have another option to make it even easier yet, and that is our Step Up program. So you can become a full member of the Women's Leadership Council with a pledge beginning at $500 and then grow your pledge over a period of up to 5 years, just incrementally increasing about $100 per year. Kelly can provide more details on all of that, but please consider joining us at the leadership level. It means so much. It has never been more important than this year. Also want to give a shout out to our Bridges Society program. If there are some of you who are under 45 years of age, both either men or women, the Bridges Society is an additional leadership program that is available to you, and you can become a member of both Women's Leadership Council and Bridges Society just with that one leadership level gift. With that, I'm going to pause, and I think the next thing that we have for you, please be sure to post any questions that you have as we're going along. Hopefully we'll have a moment for live Q&A at the end. And now I'm going to pause, and we're going to watch a short video. When we come back, you're going to be hearing from my fabulous partner, our fabulous partner there on campus, Jackie Dunbar-Jacob. So one moment, let's pause for video.
I became employed and I was working, and I secured a place for myself and for my kids, and it was great, and I was contracting and I was making decent money with the anticipation that it was going to translate into a full-time position, and they just let me go just one day. I mean, there was no, you have a week, you have 2 weeks, it was just, you're done. And so I was just kind of out and not quite sure what to do. School had just started when I lost my job, so I didn't have really a lot of money saved or anything. I mean, there was money that had just gone into paying for back to school clothes and shoes and school supplies and book bags. I mean, I was living check to check at that point. Pridefully, I kind of thought I could fix everything myself, and Perhaps had I asked for help or looked for help sooner, it may have not gotten as bad as it did. But I mean, it was quick. I fell behind in my rent. Our cable actually did get turned off. I elected to pay my cell phone bill because I needed the cell phone for calls in case of job interviews, if I had to use internet from a friend's house or go to the library to apply for jobs. One of my dear friends, Caitlin, who works for PNC, she said, Sarah, you're not going to starve. I know you're trying to food pantries and I know you're looking for a job. So I'm juggling stress and trying to take care of my kids. And, I'm getting eviction notices at this point because it had been about 6 weeks. Call United Way 211. Here's this information. Just call them. And I sat on it for almost 2 weeks because I was embarrassed. I wanted to cocoon myself in and believe that, I could figure my way out of it and find a job. And I was interviewing, but nothing was panning out yet. So I did. I ended up calling, and the woman was very gracious, who I spoke to on the phone. She's like, you are a perfect candidate for this one-time grant that we have. She helped me get all my paperwork together. She was very encouraging, again, allowed me to maintain my dignity. They just kind of put all the pieces together, and they came in and paid my rent and brought me current. And it was right around the same time I got the job at Wesley Spectrum. So, it just kind of all happened at the same time. And I was able to sustain and make it through the life event. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help to get going, and I'm so thankful for my friend Caitlin, who encouraged me not once, but twice, to just make the call, and just a little bit of help to bridge that gap during that time, and it made all the difference for me. United for Women specifically, and the work that they're doing to help women through life events is priceless and irreplaceable. And I hope that my story and other women's stories are able to encourage other women to seek the help that's available to them. Women helping women is how it's supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be standing here for each other. And as professional women, if we can be champions of each other and cheerleaders for each other and pull each other up when one of us falls down, that's what we're supposed to be doing as a community. And I think that United for Women really encompasses that idea and that mission and that vision.
Thank you. Wow, I'm always touched by Sarah's story every time I hear it. And although she is telling a story in that video of an experience that she had several years ago, it reminded me how many women in particular, people in general, women very specifically, have reached out through our 211 helpline during this pandemic and financial crisis, reaching out for help, who never ever thought that they would be in that position. And that's certainly true for Sarah. She had a good job. Everything was okay until she lost that job. And all of a sudden she found herself needing help in a way she never had before. And thousands in our region are finding themselves in that same position now. Never thought I'd have to make a call. And now I'm one of the thousands who's reaching out. 1,000 calls per day still coming into our 211 helpline. 1,000 calls per day, people seeking food, rent, utility assistance. So thank you. And so now it is really my pleasure to introduce and turn the program over to Dean Jackie Dunbar-Jacob, our WLC champion there on campus. And Jackie's going to share a personal reflection about Women's Leadership Council. Jackie.
So thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here and very enthusiastic about United Way. And I'm very happy to see those of you here today who clearly are also very enthusiastic about United Way and all of the wonderful things that it provides for our community. I'm also here, of course, to encourage you to participate. Once again, for those of you who are members of the Women's Leadership Council, and to encourage those of you who are not to join the rest of us. So you're really part of a group of women here at Pitt who understand the needs of our community, and I think we haven't seen needs this great in our community for a very, very long time. This year has not only shown us what happens when you have a pandemic, and that pandemic directly affects the members of the community, but it's also opened all of our eyes to areas of need that maybe we weren't aware of, but did exist before the community. So like you, I find United Way a great way both to learn about existing needs within our community, as well as to make my own contribution to what I can within the community. You know, sort of on the selfish side of things, we're all very busy, and United Way really offers that one-stop shopping in both learning about the major needs within the Allegheny County area and beyond, and also the opportunity to make contributions to efficiently plan how we're going to make our contributions to the community and what those things are that are most meaningful to us in the community. So I also find United Way to be great in not pushing me into necessarily contributing to one organization or another. So the various kinds of community impact funds have been very satisfying for me personally, because it allows me to think about my own contributions being distributed throughout the community and not just focused necessarily on one particular problem or one particular area. At the same time, United Way has supported my opportunity to devote to my contributions, at least a portion of my contributions, to a specific area that falls within my passion level. And for me, that passion level has been the education for students with learning disabilities, as an example. As the mother of a 32-year-old child, certainly an adult at this point, who has a specific learning disability that was sufficient to exclude him from the public school system as an elementary school student and throughout his academic career. So he needed to attend a private school for its state and school district supported, but an approved private school for children with learning disabilities. And I really had the opportunity to learn about the challenges and the resources that are necessary for educating children with learning disabilities. And it's only been a greater strain and struggle as we've gone through the COVID epidemic. And I know that that is generalized to children throughout Pittsburgh as schools determine that they're going to do online education or a mixture of online and at-home education, impacting their ability to be satisfactorily fed, their ability to develop social skills and social interactions, as well as the challenges to parents for working, and hopefully they're working, as well as basically homeschooling or supporting schooling for their children. So this has had very personal meaning for me, and United Way has given me the opportunity for both the general contribution to the Allegheny County community as a whole, as well as the opportunity to add to that contribution the area of my passion, where I want to ensure that there are adequate resources available. So United Way has been a blessing, and I think that's something we all benefit from. Leanne mentioned the other benefits too, and those of being able to connect and network with other women and benefit from the various programs that United Way provides for all of us. And it's nice to be able to interact with women who are very interested in our community and in helping that community not only manage itself, but to thrive. So it's been a very, very positive ride with United Way. And this year, I think, is an especially important year for those of us who are minded, focused towards our community and what we can do for our community. Those of us who are fortunate enough to be employed at this time really can help those individuals who have been challenged with loss of jobs or temporary suspension of jobs or reduced hours in their job, and all of the challenges that that brings to them and to their families. So I'm going to close by saying that I hope that you will be able to give not only at last year's level of giving, but that you'll be able to add a bit more and help bring support into our community and to help our community recover and thrive. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Dunbar-Jacob. It's always so wonderful to see you. Thank you for those remarks. So yes, we've been monitoring the chat and the Q&A. Haven't seen any questions. We have just a couple of minutes left, so I will pause for a moment to see if anybody would like to ask a question. And while I'm going to just pop into the Q&A, there we go. So while while we wait to see if anybody would like to post any questions, I'll just remind you that Kelly and I are available all the time. You have our email addresses in the chat box. Kelly, I'm sure, is easy to find on campus. Please let us know if you'd like to schedule some time to talk one-on-one to learn more. WLC welcomes you. And I thank you so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely a pleasure to spend this time with you. Kelly, any closing thoughts?
Yes, I just want to mention that we are having our Bridges kickoff this afternoon. So if there are any young professionals who are interested in learning more about Bridges, that's at 1 o'clock. If you're not registered, you can email me for more information. But I just want to thank you, Leanne and Lynn and Dean Jackie, just for being on the call today and shedding a little bit more light onto WLC. Appreciate your time. And we just want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Lynn and myself, Lynn Popish and myself, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day.